Good morning, everyone. My name is Robbie Thomas. I'm the Director of Sales at Super Circuits. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our newer product lines called Solstice, and I'm going to have Chip Wilson doing the webinar. He'll be covering the entire product line and the benefits of selling it. On this webinar, due to the fact that we have so many people on here, everybody's put on mute. If you have to ask a question during the middle of the presentation, I would ask that you don't do that. But if you need a question, hit the raise your hand button. I'll see that, or Chip will see that on his screen. We can pause the presentation, unmute you, let you answer your question, and then go on. If everyone can try to hold their questions at the end, it goes a little bit faster. And usually at the end, someone's going to ask a question that you wanted to have asked anyway, and then it'll go pretty fast. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Chip Wilson now, and he's going to go from here. Hold on one second.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you guys, everyone, for being here. My name is Chip Wilson, and I'm one of the senior product managers here based out of Austin. And today I was going to be covering the Solstice Mini NVR. The 16 channel, which is pictured here in this slide, was launched back in August of 2012, and recently we launched a new 4-channel unit last month in January. Basically, these units are our entry IP level type of NVRs. They're really focused towards these small and mid-channel type systems, which really appeals to our small and medium-sized businesses, small office, home office, and even residential type customers. With these units, we're selling them as turnkey units, meaning not as hard drive and system sold separately. We found that typically when we sell these turnkey, we have AV grade drives in these systems. They're already pre-qualified and certified, so typically everyone has a typical better experience when they're using turnkey. In addition, we consider this unit to be very robust but affordable IP, typically used for just general surveillance, high resolution general surveillance. A few things about the product and what the Solstice line does for our companies. It's a cost-effective entry-level IP system that we feel can be disruptive to the market. You'll see some of the pricing on these units, and it's very competitive. And we'll also show some competitive compares. It shows how it's much less in terms of cost, but certainly not feature-wise. It's a lot more feature-rich than some of the competitors out there. The 16-channel that you had seen just a moment ago starts at under $1,000, and it does scale up. And again, it's all full 16 channels, so it's not like you get it and then you have to license up. When you buy it at 16, it comes with 16. And then the 4-channel unit is less than $600. It's a very user-friendly unit. Does high resolution, high megapixel count in terms of the system. And it's really based for general surveillance type market, and it just simply works. Two of the biggest challenges I believe that we face, that we work under in terms of bringing product to market, are cost for IP. And again, sorry, to get into the IP world for customers, are cost, and then fear of installation or ease of use. So in addition to having these units, we do offer pre-configuration services. We also have bundles that we offer that are pre-configured, meaning we've programmed the cameras and the devices to the unit, and we actually have one of those offerings that I'll mention later that's under $1,000 for a 4-channel unit. But in addition to our pre-configuration services, which if you utilize those, sort of takes out the fear of installation for the most part for the customer. And then again, with the price point being at what it's at, that's the other obstacle we want to take out of the equation here. As with the other all the Solstice products, It's versatile across multiple computing platforms. Because it's web-based, it works on Windows environments, Mac environments, and Linux environments. It's all browser-based, so you can do the management and the viewing all through your browser. So if you have any school environments that are strictly Mac, you do have an NVR solution that you can offer to them. If you have customers who are fearful of, say, going to their IT department to install client software, this is not, there's not a client software that's installed. So you have something you can offer those customers. In addition to just being versatile, we've also partnered with other major brand camera makers. So it's not just compatible with its own brand or a few brands. It's compatible with the largest IP camera brands out in the market. And also, if you guys have seen that 3S and LG is one of the big offerings from Super Circuits, we've partnered with them as well for the Solstice product, so they do integrate very well on 3S and LG product, as well as some of the other major brands out there. So in addition, a lot of times people wonder where sort of the product stack fits from how we bring products to market and where we see they fit in terms of technology-wise. So in our extreme value space is normally where analog sits. And then right above that, we get into the value space, and that's where Solstice and sort of HD CCTV will fit in terms of how we bring product to market. And then above that, you still see HD and some of the other product offerings that Super Circuits has in our mid-tier and enterprise space. And in terms of price point, you'll see kind of analog and IP on each side. And this is how the product stacks and how they look in terms of our pricing and how we bring products to market as well. On the analog side, you'll see analog and then HD CCTV. And on the IP side, you'll see Solstice, which is now in parity with analog. And then you'll see the Digiop product, which is another offering on the IP side. And you'll see the pricing in just a little bit that it's about a third of the cost of existing IP solutions. It's as much as half as HD CCTV, and it's in parity with analog. So again, one of those barriers to market was traditionally price. Again, we're trying to take that the pricing out of the equation for people to have more adoption to IP video. As promised, here's some competitive slides in terms of pricing. Some of the biggest competitors in this space are Nuo, QNAP, and Geovision. Just to call out, so we have a 4-channel and 16-channel. Some of these don't even offer a 16-channel, but it gives their pricing in terms of where they stack up. And to sort of call out those individual competitors. So how would Solstice differ from Nuo? Well, again, price is a pretty big factor. It mentions that Nuo is about 60% more costly than Solstice on the 16-channel and about 25% more than a 4-channel. Some of the differences, they require client software, which, again, if you have customers who are not interested in always going to their IT folks for that, if it's a lockdown network, that can cause some trouble. And I put a screenshot of one of their UIs up here, and later I'll show you some video of the Solstice. And to me, it does not just seem as friendly or as intuitive as the Solstice UI. And then also, it has limited resources in terms of channel count and in terms of bandwidth, so you can put only certain numbers of cameras or a certain amount of cameras on the device. So we feel that the Solstice actually is more powerful in terms of what kind of cameras and sort of the resolution and megapixel strength and resolution you can put on these devices. So in terms of QNAP, again, price is a big factor. Shows that the QNAP's about 30% more than the Solstice 16-channel. And again, That's comparing it to a 12 channel. They don't even have a 16 channel that stacks up, and it's about 15% more costly than the 4 channel. Some of the technology in the QNAP examples that I'd shown you is that in terms of it's really only able to support up to 2 terabyte hard drives, where the Solstice technology is there. So as larger drives become available, again, we use surveillance grade drives in all our units. As they become available, they will be supported in the Solstice product. Solstice actually gives you health monitoring on the system and at a device level, where none of that's available in the QNAP system. So, and again, in my opinion, here's a screenshot of their UI, and to me it's not as near as friendly or intuitive or customizable. And then just to call out some differences in terms of the Geovision. The Geovision is actually Windows-based, so it's a little bit different than a Linux-based system. It typically has 1 hard drive and a small hard drive size. Typically that's a laptop type drive that's in the Geovision versus the standard 3.5 inch, so you just can't get the density and the size that you would get out of a Solstice. Again, I should mention that the Solstice 16 channel does cost a little more than the Geovision, about 5%, but that's a 16 channel compared to their 8. If we look at, say, the 4 channel, it's about 35% less. And again, it also has limited resources. And then on the Geovision, it has a limited number of brands or IP cameras. Normally, it's only compatible with itself and maybe one or 2 other brands that you can install on the system, where the Solstice is compatible with lots of brands out there. As mentioned, just some of the benefits of using the Solstice product is it's competitively priced. Also to mention, it's not out there in the market. We do have exclusives. So the Solstice product is not sold through every single resource out there. You guys, through Super Circuits, there is some exclusivity that we have for the United States. So it's not going to be something where you're competing against yourselves and all the time. Again, we have system bundles where it's they start out under $1,000. We've looked all across, and in terms of all our other competitors, we don't believe that there's other bundles that are wired and wireless that offer the same bundle packages we do at such a competitive price. Some of the other benefits is that it's not susceptible to viruses, spyware, malware, because it is Linux. That's why we consider it an appliance. So the other big thing is no hidden fees in terms of licensing or just other hidden fees, no recurring fees. When you buy it, the 4 or 16 channel, you can use all the way up to those if that's what you need. And as mentioned earlier, it is web-based, so you can view it and manage it through almost any popular browsers, such as Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So just to show you guys a few features around each box, this is the 16 channel, very small form factor in terms of the 16 channel, and the 4 channel is even smaller. It does support 2 hard drives, so in addition to just doing what they call as JBOD or having a larger storage array, it does support RAID, so it has RAID options within that. Typically it's RAID 0 or RAID 1 because there's just 2 drive bays. We have 4 models within that. We have a 2 and a 3 terabyte, and then a 4 and a 6, which is basically 2 2s and 2 3 terabytes. Some of the other really neat features that you get with just the Solstice brand is we have the ability to do automatic online firmware. So within the UI, there's a section that you can actually check. It checks if it has online access. You can check and see if the firmware is available, and it can push it to the unit, so it can save time and effort and energy there. And one of the things I'll show you guys in a few moments is the fact that now there are Android and tablet, iPad, and iPhone apps for Solstice that are out right now and available, and they're free. But if you do have some of the existing Solstice boxes, those are out now and available. So it has a gigabit port, and then if you do say you want multiple of these in a certain location, there's an option on there where you can turn on a visual alert when you're trying to locate the box, so it'll blink at you for X amount of time. So if you do have multiple of these in an environment, it can help you locate it for service purposes. Very similar on the 4-channel, except it's a lot smaller form factor. With it being a small form factor, it does only fit 1 hard drive currently. So there's only 2 models available for it, a 2 and a 3 terabyte. Again, I should mention that all of our systems have surveillance-grade drives within them. Besides just the hardware, some of the software features about the Solstice product. Again, I mentioned about the 3S and LG IP devices being supported, as well as all the other major brands out there. Each channel has a 4 megabit, and that's actually not per channel. It's actually across. It's like a resource bank for the system. So all the new 3S 5 megapixel cameras are supported on these boxes. It's an average. So you have sort of a 64 and a 16 megabit per second resource bank per system. So that's how they measure how many cameras and kind of the load the system can take. And I'll show you guys shortly some of the resources you guys have available to you to sort of determine what number of cameras can go in each box. Additionally, it has audio and I/O support for many IP devices. Anyone that deals with other countries that may be interested in this has multi-language support. It has more than just English and Spanish. I think it has something like 8 or 10 language supports. So it's multilingual. Again, the system and device health monitoring. It's hard to see, but in the bottom right, you can see some of the health monitoring in the screenshot. So you can look at things such as system temperature. You can look at how much hard drive space available is in the system. You can look at bandwidth. Again, that's system level. And then on the device level, you can pull that into the same window and look and see what kind of bandwidth the camera or the device is taking up. So that kind of health monitoring is available at no cost. It's just built into the system. Again, we believe it's very easy to use, and then additionally, it's all web-based, so no client software needed. As mentioned earlier, there are iPad, iPhone, tablet, and Android apps that are available right now. Just to show you kind of what an iPhone, the iPhone app looks like. It's the same app that's for the iPhone and iPad, and they are available on iTunes right now. And this is what it looks like. On the left is a tablet, and on the right is an Android phone. And it's the same app for both those as well. And that's available on Google Play right now. It does support, it is just live view. Something in the works is something to do search via mobile. But that is something to come later. It does support PTZ functions. So if you have a PTZ, you can do that through the app as well, and it does support the PTZ Zoom feature as well. So as mentioned earlier, just to show you guys the 6 different part numbers we have for this current product. And as you can tell, it's very competitively priced. It starts at under $600 and ranges up to $1,600. The 16 channel does start at under $1,000, so we feel that's very competitive. Again, you saw the other competitors out there in this space, much less all the others, and how it stacks just in terms of price, much less all the features that come with. As mentioned, the support materials. So on the Super Circuit site, there's quite a few support materials available. These are 2, and I'll mention a few others, but storage calculators. So if you're interested in how much storage your camera is going to take up, you can run it through the calculator and you can tell what type of system might be your best purchase. Additionally, the bandwidth calculator is available. So that's helpful in two ways. One is you can tell the bandwidth it's going to be taking up on the network. And another is also to tell the bandwidth that's going to take on the system, sort of a load calculator. It acts both ways. So that would be useful for you to use to tell what kind of load is going to be on the system. So if you need to know if, hey, I want to install a 10 or 8 megapixel on this device, you can, but just understand that it sort of takes away from other channels, and this will help you calculate what kind of load would be needed on the system. Additional resources that are also available on the site. Typically, it's on each product. They have a resource tab, and all the stuff's available. We have release notes for the new firmware that was released just recently, telling you sort of all the new features that came out. And also importantly is the list of supported devices in terms of by brand and model. And keep in mind, if you don't see your brand and model on that, I should mention this product is fully ONVIF compliant. So with it being ONVIF compliant, keep in mind that it will support an ONVIF device. Just some of the troubles around ONVIF are that motion detection, you may have to go through some extra steps to get motion detection working on that, but all the ones on the supported list are an API level integration or an extended ONVIF, so motion detection is not an issue there. And also keep in mind, if it's not on that list and we need it to get on that list, you can work with your sales person, and we can work together to get that to be part of that list and support it. It may be a similar API to where it does work, it just needs some testing, or if we need to do development to that, I'm more than happy to look into that to see about getting it developed and added to the system. A few of the brands that are supported. You see a lot of the name brands here. If you don't see something on here that you need, again, please work with your salesperson and they'll work with me, and we'll work to get that brand integrated or that model. So completely open to making that happen. So here I have a couple of actually some recorded video to show you guys and to walk you through. So this is generally the live view of the screen. Right here, we're actually doing some customized additions, adding columns, so you can totally customize your view. And you can just drag the thumbnails into the view of each camera, into the viewpoint. And you can customize this completely how you want. You can have a 2x2, a 3x3. Again, we're going to add another column below here and to the right, so it's a 3x3. And then the cool thing is you can drag it to where you can increase the size, and then you can do a swap of screens. Pretty easy and intuitive. So this is all live view right here that we're showing you. So right here we're showing you total space, some of the health monitoring items that I was mentioning earlier. So again, you're seeing system level health items, and here we're going to show you on a device level health monitoring. It shows you what it's recording at, what it's streaming, that it is recording, and then you can save down your different views as that follows you throughout your user login. So you can have multiple views if you'd like. Also, what happens is it shows you stream information. You can disable this or not, but it shows you live stream information, showing you what kind of codec it's recording in, its frame rate, your speed, and then also the resolution it's recording at. The nice thing about this system is that you can actually record at one rate and then watch at another. We don't call it, we just call it kind of multi-streaming. Versus transcoding, which is a popular term for this. So, and what you saw just a moment ago was sort of a Zoom a PTZ function, and actually you can do digital Zoom as well on live. So that's what the full screen will look like. So you can go full screen on a single screen if you like. And then obviously you can go back to your multi-view there. Again, this is a multi-tabbed environment as well. So if you do have multiple screens, multiple monitors, it completely supports that. So it's just a matter of how powerful your PC is that's going to run that many views. So. And here's some of the digital zoom. Again, that's on a 5 megapixel camera. Again, it's really easy to switch between views. So if you didn't like that view and you wanted to go to another, now we're going to show you some of the PTZ functions versus the digital zoom. And so the system automatically picks up if it is a PTZ or not. It reads on the stream that it is. So it will actually pick up on that. And you see how easy the PTZ functions are. So that was on the live view. Now I was going to show you what search feels like whenever. So here's a few other. So the nice thing is you can actually put live view side by side with recorded view of the same camera. So what's being shown here is just some recorded, so they're going through the recorded video. You can look at it by calendar date, and then you can look over here on sort of the timeline to see how much video there. The yellow is the video data shown within that timeline. And you can customize this in terms of to narrow down to the search as much as you want. Just pretty standard in terms of trying to find the video. You can do loop play by putting the start and stop at a certain point, just kind of creating that loop over and over if you want. Again, you can go live view right under or right next to the same view as the one above it, and this one, the one above it. So. Also, we have a legend here to explain a little bit more about what each of the colors you see below mean in terms of if there's video, and if so, if it's motion, or if it's via sensor recorded. So pretty easy to use, in my opinion. And the customers that have bought this also feel the same. So the exported video, pretty easy to export. You just click on a button, and then you know obviously it highlights it's for whatever you're reviewing, and then you choose save, and it saves it down. So when it saves it down, it does utilize, say, a VLC player for playing back video, but just to show you guys how easy it is. So just to mention, in addition to just the Solstice product, for anyone that's interested on any of our offerings, especially with the Solstice, because of some of the hurdles in terms of setup, for any IP device, we offer professional services. So if you have a large deployment or you just want to save time, we actually have professional services we offer here at Super Circuits. And they're for NVRs, cameras, almost any device we sell, we can offer professional services on. And it's really, really competitive in terms of the pricing for those professional services compared to any other type distributor or any other type company out there. That we did a lot of compares before we launched this professional services. So just to mention. So if you need any customized programming of the devices, you need the IP addresses set, any settings, configurations, that can be done. We can do custom labeling on a product. So if you need custom labeling on your NVR or cameras, say you want to call that a certain area of a building, we can do that. And then also extended burn-in. So not only do we do the custom programming and the labeling, we actually program in the cameras to the device, and we burn it in, make sure it's all working together. Everything is compatible and interoperable here, but the fact is we actually do the programming for you and let it sit and burn in. So all of these services are actually all rolled into one. So if you purchase a particular service from us, you get all of this for like that one simple low fee, and it's usually a different fee for the type of device. So the cameras have like a pretty inexpensive fee, and then the NVRs have a pretty inexpensive fee. Or if you look at our wireless devices, they have an inexpensive fee. But that's, I mean, again, any device you need programmed, we can do that. I put a screenshot here of the Solstice in terms of the backup and restore. So if you, again, as mentioned with large deployments, besides the programming, this is also good just for you guys to know. If you have, say, a cookie cutter type installation, you can back up all of your program or all of your settings for that system and save those off. We can also do that internally as well. So if you utilize our professional services and this is a continual rollout, we can do the same, or you can do that on your site when you receive these. So you can export and import, and it saves you guys time and effort. So just to make sure I call that out. That's actually a feature of the Solstice in terms of the backup and restore, but I do show that under the sort of professional services umbrella, just to let you guys know what all we can do. One of the last items I want to show you guys in terms of the customization, I know we mentioned about all the customization you can do in terms of the UI, adding screens and views and all of that, but for any guys out there that would like to get your company's name out there a little bit more, this Solstice product actually supports a feature to where you can replace the logos within the UI with your logo. I call this out here in the upper left of the UI where it shows the Solstice logo. There's a pretty easy option to where you can insert your logo there. So when the customer opens it up, they can see your logo, your company's logo there. And then we also have a full marketing team. So if it's, hey, you don't have the expertise to create that logo or to modify it, you can work with your sales team. That can work with our fully staffed marketing team to design that. Again, and we can insert that for you when we build out the unit, or we can provide that to you to do at your leisure. So, and I thought that was another really cool feature to call out to you guys. So from the Solstice product. And the last information before I go into Q&A was in reference to technical information. So in addition to being fully supported API level integration on a lot of IP cameras, we have it is ONVIF compliant. When using ONVIF for this product, a lot of times you want to make sure that you sync the cameras and you sync the device. To get the motion detection alerts, you want to make sure you sync it to a local PC that you're using for setup. So that's one of the things that some of the oddities you get when using ONVIF integration. So anytime you have an ONVIF integration, make sure you sync the cameras on the local PC and sync the NVR. So just to call that out. So when you're setting up one of the Solstice units from outside of the LAN, so if you're looking from the outside world in, there is some port forwarding, some port setup that you have to do. There are 2 for the NVR, and then for each camera that you're going to be viewing, it's 2 ports per camera that has to be configured on that local router. There is a table within the Solstice product that allows you to help, does some of that interpretation. So that's there to help. So just know that. As mentioned earlier, it's completely web-based. It's a completely web-based UI and it supports multi-screen, multi-monitor. It also supports the new 5-megapixel cameras from 3S. So anyone that's interested in those came out just recently. So it's definitely for high resolution. It can still do your standard IP cameras as well, but anyone wanting to really show the newer stuff, the 5-megapixel, it's very cost competitive. It absolutely supports those. And as mentioned earlier, if there's any integrations that are needed for you guys, particular brand you carry that you don't see in there, that you're really interested in pushing this product and you want to see that in there as an API level integration, please let us know, because we can absolutely make that happen. So now, if it's okay with everyone, I was going to look at kind of go through the questions and then see if I can answer anything else for anyone. So I see a question about quantity pricing discount. Actually, if you don't mind, I was going to leave that up to Robbie and your salespeople. I'm pretty sure. So those prices I showed you were sort of an MSRP. As you guys know, you get a discount off of that depending on your dealer level. But I think in terms of quantity pricing, I'm pretty sure your sales guy will work with you on that. So. One question was about can the UI support multiple NVRs? Right now, it's not a CMS or a central management system. It is sort of one browser instance to one NVR. That is what we're looking at for the roadmap for this year, is to add it, have a CMS option. But when you get into that, you start talking about client level software and things of that sort. So that's why right now it's kind of one instance, one browser instance to one NVR. Also, just to mention, the reason why some of the words look a little different in this is that some of the footage is from overseas in terms of Europe. So the way they spell things, and some things like that are a little different than how we do that here. So some of that video footage is taken from that. So any other questions from anyone, or anything else I can help with in terms of this product? I believe this presentation will be available to everyone. And obviously, if you guys have further questions, please let me know. My email address is chip.wilson@observant.com, and then also any of the sales guys. Okay, so more questions coming through. It's great. How do wireless cams work? Is a router involved? So typically, how wireless cams would work is you normally have an AP or a wireless access point involved, and so it's just a matter of if that's going to be hooked up via that. Normally, you need some kind of access point or some kind of transceiver to receive that information, and then which the NVR would tie in through that. Normally, you would have a router involved or a switch, so it can communicate across the LAN. So yeah, normally, unless your router or switch itself has a wireless access point that can communicate with that wireless device. So one of the bundles that we offer actually has a wireless access point built in, or in conjunction with a camera, and that does the communication out to the camera, and then essentially you can plug the NVR in the LAN on the LAN along with that. And in terms of getting a list of upcoming training webinars, I'm going to leave that one up to Robbie. I believe that's very possible, so I don't think that'll be difficult. But again, Robbie can get that information for you guys. How do you take off video to give to the police? The export function. Normally, so just to mention, this is an appliance, so it does not have local viewing. So anything you're doing in terms of management is from a separate PC. So the PC itself that you're doing the management from or the viewing, you save it down to that or a network drive, and then you give that that video over to someone else. So if you want to, when you save it down in that format, it supports AVI format and a few other formats. So you can take that video and provide that to whomever, including police if necessary. The other question is, are there 16 Ethernet ports on the rear of the voice at the rear of the device, and is it PoE? Now, there's just one single port on the rear of the device. On our website, we have pictures of the front and back of the unit. It's just a single port, so it's not necessarily a one-to-one like a camera to the device. Normally, the cameras feed into, say, a switch, and then the switch, and then this device also sits on the switch. Unfortunately, this device is not PoE because of SATA hard drives that are built into it. They don't. There's just not enough power to power a SATA type hard drive with it being PoE. So the device has a power cord and power supply that's with it, and normally the device sits in the back office or in an office where all the cameras will be routed to a switch, and this device will plug into, say, a switch or router, or typically a switch as well. This is a very good question in terms of how many clients can remotely view the Solstice at one time. So that there is no limitation, with the exception of it depends on how many users can access the camera at one time. So the Solstice box, when it makes that connection to the camera, is using one of the users. Most cameras have anywhere between 10 and 50 users that can access the camera. It depends on the camera. So most of them are anywhere between 10 and just endless. So the Solstice takes one of those because it's recording, and then basically you can access the Solstice. So there's no limitation to how many can actually access the Solstice. What happens is that camera, it's a matter of how many views that you can have on the camera, or how many people can view that camera at one time through the Solstice. So to give you an example, if camera A can only have 10 users, say Solstice is taking one, and one person accesses the Solstice. That means when you're viewing the Solstice, only 9 other people, so up to 9 people in that scenario. Hope that approached that one. Yes, and so the website, you can find this on supercircuits.com. This product is under if you look up Solstice brand, there's a lot of information in regards to Solstice and all the support materials on each product page for this. I believe this one is going to be hooked up in different networks. Yes, I mean it can crosstalk across as long as you can talk across your LANs. It also supports dynamic DNS and host names. So if you have the ability to do that, and you have the ability to name it through a DNS naming service, you can name it, My Solstice, or Jim Solstice, whatever you want to call it. So you can type that into a browser and hit that box every time. So. Ultimately, I see the question about multiple NVRs. It's basically one per browser instance. So you pull it up per browser instance, and you can pull up an NVR. To go back to some of the examples within, here's an example of multiple NVRs within the iPhone app. So just to give you an example. You can have multiple of those. As you can see, or it says up here, it says My NVRs. You can have multiples there, but typically you can't bring in channels from other NVRs into that same instance, but you can run multiple browser instances to show NVRs. Another question is, can we log into a system to demo? Absolutely. So there's demos running here in the Austin office. I think the sales folks can give you a live demo if necessary. In terms of you guys being able to log in, I believe that can be worked out. And so I'll work with Robbie after this to make sure to see if we maybe can give you guys sort of a universal access or outside the world access into one to be able to do that. So I believe that's very, very doable. So with that, so normally you just need an Ethernet cable. This system's not PoE, but most of your cameras are. It depends on your camera. Sorry, just to repeat, the question was that about cabling in terms of running to get an IP camera to run on these systems. A typical Cat5e or Cat6 cable this will work off of. Your cameras, you can normally run a Cat5e or Cat6. PoE is normally power over Ethernet, which works from a switch. It's basically powering a switch that powers a camera. It depends on if the camera supports it and the switch, but this device runs on a power source, usually plugged in a back office, and it's plugged into the switch, and it talks to the camera and brings that stream in. So this itself is not PoE, but normally the cameras are. So I hope that helps on that one. So, well, I just want to thank everyone for your time, and this will be recorded for everyone. And if you have questions, please let me know. Again, my email address is chip.wilson@observant.com, and then also I'm available through all of your sales folks here at Super Circuits. So thank you everyone for your time, and take care. Bye-bye.